In Kotlin, there's a concept known as a default argument. Now, every time I call this print user function, so let's say I had to call it a few times, I have to change this from every time, of course, these values are going to change to some other types of thing. And it's going to say 31 and 37 and 12 and all these different types of things. And this person is sunburned, etc. But perhaps the majority of the time, I always know that these people are not sunburned. And maybe because these people are my family, they like movies and I know that they love popcorn. But having to repeat these things many times is troublesome. So we can actually use the power of default arguments. And to do so, we can specify a default value for an argument. So let's say the user loves popcorn. So we're going to set it to true here. Now, if loves popcorn is not provided, we can actually remove it from this call site. It will just default to true. So I can actually remove it from these other ones as well. And I can provide a default argument for maybe likes movies. And we're going to default that to true because everybody should like movies, I think. And then again, I can remove this from the call site. And because I'm removing it, the default value of likes movies is going to be true. And of course, it's not often that everyone is sunburned, so let's go ahead and set this to false. And it's pretty easy to do, so I'll say false. Now we can go ahead and remove this from here. Now this cleans up the call site of these three functions quite a bit. We can actually see the only relevant information that is changed in each print user info function. And if we were to run these here, let's run it. You're going to see it's printed 3 times and we see sunburned false, likes movies true, loves popcorn true. Now, if for some reason that I know that this time perhaps I've just eaten a lot of popcorn and I'm just not really fond of it lately, I'm just going to say loves popcorn false. And maybe I know that Bob this week is sunburned because he just got back from the beach here over in New Jersey on the Jersey Shore. And perhaps Sarah, for whatever reason, just does not like movies. And we're going to put false there. So actually, Bob is sunburned. So make that true. So now what will happen is when we call the print user function, all these values are set. Now, loves popcorn, which is traditionally true, is going to be set to false for this function call. For the next function call, print user info, it's going to be true because I haven't provided it up here because it's using the default value. However, I'm saying, hey, is sunburned. This time, don't use the false value, use true because Bob is actually sunburned. And then finally, we have the print user function down here at the bottom for Sarah. And she actually doesn't like movies, so we're not going to default it to true. We're going to set it to false. And if we run this again, we're going to see that these values actually render correctly here. So Donn loves popcorn is false. Okay. The Bob Felker here is sunburned, true, and Sarah Felker likes movies, false. So these are all of your default values that you can have inside of Kotlin. Now, if there is a string, for example, we could say that a string, let's make a string here at the end. We'll say favorite color, and it could be a string, and we'll just say that it's going to be blue. And if you provide that favorite color, then up here you can override it. Otherwise, it will just default to blue. So you can do any of these things. If it's could be a built-in primitive type, could be a class, anything like that, you can set it to a default value. Now, traditionally, the default arguments are usually placed at the end of the method call. Now, this is not a steadfast rule. You can actually place them in the middle. So if you would like to say, well, the last name is actually supposed to be defaulting to Smith because we are working with the Smith family, but for whatever reason, we realized we gave Sarah the wrong last name. Now, if we were to run that again, we could run it and we'd see Bob Felker, Donn Felker, and Sarah Smith here. So we've used a default argument right inside of the middle of the call site here. So right in the middle of the definition of the method. Now, but age has not been specified, so we do need to provide that. So if we do leave off age, we're going to get an error here. And we'll see that no value passed for a parameter age. And because we're using named values, I can do that up here. Say, oh, age is 32. And I can move these around anywhere that I would like because we are using the name parameters. And that's how you can use default arguments, parameters inside of Kotlin.